So today we are going to be taking a revisit once again to talk about the world of stimulus checks, but even more specifically the world of Social Security benefits and the COLA increase and everything in that world. Because as most of you guys know, is that the big idea is that Social Security is now being set to be increased by a COLA adjustment. COLA just pretty much stands for a cost of living adjustment. For anyone that doesn't know, pretty much every single year Social Security is increased by a particular amount, and what makes this year particularly special is that it's going to be increased by about 8.7%, which means that the average Social Security recipient will now be able to receive about $1,800, so $1,800 as essentially almost as a form of stimulus check, because at the end of the day, what it is that it's money inside of our pockets, and that's what we care the most about. So in today, what I really want to talk about is the situation and story to what's happening with Social Security. There are several bills that have been going on right now that some have already been existing for a while, but they've recently resurfaced and been brought back again. So I want to talk about which bills are currently available to ramp up Social Security, or maybe even de-ramp, if that's even a word. But the big idea is that everything in that world, that's what we're going to cover. So that being said, we are going to get started. But maybe again, real fast before we begin, if you guys enjoy videos like this, remember to smash the like button to share some support, or you can watch to the end to decide. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell for similar videos. I have videos on other kinds of finance topics I'll put at the end screen. Welcome if you're brand new here, and as always, feel free to comment any questions, maybe personal thoughts about what you think about this situation by the end of this video. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So the big idea is that, as mentioned, is that there are several bills that we have to talk about, which we're going to mention, but the Social Security situation is that the average recipient is going to be receiving about an $1,800 stimulus check starting the beginning of next year, the beginning of next year, so January 2023, with some early payments potentially even coming right around the very end of this month if you are watching this on release date, December 2022. But the big idea is that the first bill that we're really going to be talking about is going to be called the Protecting and Preservation Social Security Act. This is a little bit of an old bill, but this was a bill that was recently just reintroduced and revived in talks again. But what this is meant to do is that it's pretty much a bill that's meant to try to continue Social Security programs until 2052, reducing the budget deficit by about $12.3 trillion. In other words, it's making it so that more people will pay Social Security taxes, giving them more money so that the Social Security programs can last longer in general. Because keep in mind is that there was a say that Social Security is currently running very tight on money and budget. They are in a lot of debt, and there was a lot of say that they could potentially even go bankrupt in about 12 to 13 years. So this bill is really meant to try to provide a way to fix up Social Security and revamp it so that they can raise up more money so that they can physically continue the program for a longer period of time so that more people can get onto it, especially because this is a lifeline for a lot of people to be able to survive. Social Security, that's something that more than 60-70 million people in our country are currently collecting in some way, shape, or form. What this bill is also interestingly hoping to do is try to adjust the specific formula that they use to calculate the COLA, so specifically cost of living adjustment. The big idea is that right now they use a lot of the inflation numbers, and they have their own current formula in order to calculate how much Social Security is supposed to go up by every single year. But they also have found that the adjustment isn't really fully an accurate representation of how fast inflation has skyrocketed prices as well. So one of the things about this particular first bill that we're currently talking about is that essentially it's also going to hope to try to change the specific formula to make it so that it's a lot more of an accurate representation of what the inflation rate actually physically is inside of our country. And so what the goal is that what this means is that if you are someone that's on Social Security, under this act, you could potentially now receive even more money because it means that the inflation adjustment is going to be a lot more accurate. Now, the next bill that we're really going to be talking about is a bill that interestingly is one of the most popular bills that was actually, it came out pretty recently as well. but it's going to be the Social Security Expansion Act. The big idea about this is that this was a bill that was proposed by Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Peter DeFazio, hoping to try to extend it now by 75 years and raising its benefits base to $250,000. So essentially, it's going to try to raise Social Security by about $200 per month, requiring billionaires to pay about 12.4% in taxes, up from the current 6.2% and about the same as current self-employed workers' tax rates. So what this is that you can even say is that this is a bill that's almost like the extreme version of the first bill that we've been talking about. They're going to be increasing the base. They're going to be trying to aim to collect more money from taxes. You guys can feel free to share your particular opinions, whether or not you support this or the last bill, or neither of these bills, or both of these bills, or the next bill that we're going to be talking about. But the big idea really is that it's just really hoping to try to fund Social Security, but extend it to an even more extreme end than what the first bill originally proposed. One thing though maybe is interesting is that the figures that are supporting this bill are relatively bigger people, so maybe that will help to gain a little bit more support, but at the end of the day, it is also a little bit more ambitious. So it kind of goes both ways depending on how you really look at the situation. And then the next bill that we're really going to be talking about is going to be called the Social Security 2100 Sacred Trust Act. So this really, it's a real fast is that it's pretty much just a bill that was proposed by John Larson. He's a politician, and he's trying to raise the base rates to $400,000 and also raising benefits by about 2%. However, only for about 5 years. So it's a little bit more of a middle ground kind of proposal in the sense that it's trying to extend Social Security and do a lot of programs, but it's a little bit more short term compared to the first two proposals. However, the base cap, or the base amount of money, is going to be increased pretty significant. All this number really is that once you reach a particular income threshold, beyond that, Social Security has a little bit of a tax, a cap on how much you have to pay in taxes. But what this is hoping to do is that all of these proposals that we've mentioned so far, they're really just trying to raise up the cap so that more people will pay more Social Security taxes to be able to make the program significantly richer so that they can continue running for a lot longer than the current predicted 12 to 13 years that's currently happening inside of our country, or happening inside of Social Security in general. And then the last bill that we really have to talk about is, interestingly, one of the most unique bonus bills, and it's really about the new Republican Social Security bill. So essentially, this one doesn't really technically have an official name, but there was a politician within the Republican Party, actually technically several, but they put together a proposal in order to try to actually, interestingly, try to cut Social Security. So this is on probably the most unique of the bills, because this is the only bill that is not meant to, again, objectively speaking, because I know there's a lot of political tension going on there, but this is the only bill of the ones that we've mentioned that isn't actually meant to increase Social Security, but it's actually meant to, interestingly, cut Social Security. The goal behind this, of why they're doing this, is that what they really want to do is that they just don't believe that Social Security should have such a high tax rate. So what they really want to do with this bill is that they want to cut Social Security taxes. The good news is that it means that you're going to be able to pay less taxes under this bill, so you can take home more money with your paycheck every single time you receive your paycheck. However, the big idea behind this is that it also does mean that for people in Social Security, they're going to be making a lot less money. And that is going to be one of the saddest things, if anything. But that's kind of the story to what's going on with this particular bill. But the big idea is that every single bill that we mention is going to potentially impact Social Security in some way, shape, or form, but that they're just simply put in different ways, different scales, and different degrees. But the big idea is that even beyond this is that it's very, very probable that they're going to come up with even more Social Security programs, because this is just a very, very big hot topic that's going on right now at this particular time. So what they end up actually doing forward from here, we don't really know. We just have to see in hopefully one of the next episodes of The Kevin Show. So the big idea is that if you guys made it to the end, that's pretty much what I really wanted to cover in today's update. So if you guys made it to the end, maybe remember to smash the like button if you guys hopefully did enjoy this, or leave a comment and suggestions for improvements. Consider leaving a comment for something, subscribing, and hitting the bell, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.